guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now, if you are new here, then smash the subscribe button down below because every single week we do videos just like this. Now, if you probably can't tell by the title of today's video what we're gonna do, then let me explain. Now, in today's video, I did an interview for the Pennsylvania State University. Now, it is an interview based on my YouTube channel and what I do as a creator. Now, I screen recorded the interview, so let me add this piece of clip in and let's get into this video, shall we?
Good. So we are good to go then. Any questions for me before we begin? It's very simple. This is just a conversation, Casey. I'm not going to drill you. I'm not going to, ask you difficult questions. I just want to learn from you, from your experiences, from your thoughts, from your ideas and motivations. All right. So unless you have any questions, I'm just going to go ahead and start. And these are not meant to be sort of questions to force you into any particular answer. It's just opening up a topic and you can tell me whatever you want about that topic. So the first thing that I'm asking everyone is, tell me about your experience getting started with YouTube. When did you get started? How did it happen? That sort of thing.
I started my YouTube channel back in 2018 and it was really difficult because I had no experience and no resources. So I didn't know anything about filming, editing, producing videos. What I now know about YouTube, I have learned from watching other YouTubers.
Okay. And why? Why did you start doing this?
I was pretty depressed and I felt like I needed somewhere to go when I felt depressed and when I had anxiety, and I felt like I was more safe telling strangers on YouTube how I felt more than I could talk to a friend. So that is why I started making YouTube videos.
And it actually worked out that way? Did it actually help you to do that on YouTube?
It gave me more confidence. And it allowed me to express my feelings, and my fans were really supportive towards that.
Wow, that's the first time I've heard that. It's a very interesting take on it. So having started a couple of years ago, what kind of content, I mean, I've seen some of your stuff, but in your mind, what would you say is your main content focus? What kinds of stuff do you focus on and why?
I focus more on travel vlogs because I have seen a lot of people being more interested in seeing my country, Guyana, and seeing how Guyana looks like. A lot of foreigners love to see what Guyana looks like compared to what it was. So that is what I focus on more.
And is that primarily in your mind for foreigners who've never been to Guyana, Guyanese living abroad, or Guyanese at home? How do you sort of envision those different audiences?
I try to make different content. So sometimes I do reaction videos for Guyanese people, and I do travel vlogs for, foreigners and former Guyanese people who used to live in Guyana and now they are not. So I try to make different contents, but I try to do more vlogs, travel vlogs.
Mm-hmm. And what about the responses from those different people, from Guyanese living abroad, and from non-Guyanese people to the stuff that you produce? Do you get positive responses? I'm sure you do. You get negative responses. What are some of the strange things that people have sort of responded to you about?
For the most part, my fans, the people that watch my content, they were really supportive. However, there were some friends and family who liked the idea of seeing Caribbean content and Guyanese content, but they didn't like the fact that I was creating those videos. And you have to keep going because that is a tough pill to swallow, because a lot of people aren't going to support you, but there are going to be some people who do support you, and you have to realize that people's opinion of you shouldn't change who you are. You should keep on going.
So I want to make sure I heard you correctly on that. You're saying that people close to you wanted to see Caribbean content, but they didn't feel that you were the person who should be producing it. Is that right?
Yes, because they didn't like the fact that I was doing something different. I feel like they were envious of what I was doing.
Mm-hmm. Mhm. Um, so you do all of this stuff. You go to all this effort. What do you hope to achieve? What do you hope will come out of what you have put online? What you continue to produce? What is your vision?
What I hope to achieve is I want to make better quality content. I want to show Guyana from an insider's perspective. I don't want people to read some article on the internet. I want them to see videos and see what Guyana is because it is such a beautiful country. And I also want to raise awareness towards suicide prevention and mental health in general, such as anxiety and depression, because I feel like these are topics that a lot of people don't talk about.
Hmm. Where's the you talk about responses coming from Guyanese people, from people abroad. Where is the furthest or strangest place that you've got a response from that you didn't expect to hear someone from that place watching your content?
I would have to say the United States. I didn't expect so many responses, and those responses really motivated me and kept me going because they were saying, I haven't come to Guyana in such a long time, and now I'm getting to see Guyana, and it is such a beautiful country. And a lot of people are thinking about coming back to Guyana and coming to visit, which is really a good thing.
So you mentioned you're strong on the concept of Guyana. Tell me a little about how you, like, in your mind when you're creating the content. How do you promote the idea of Guyana or Guyanese identity or culture? How do you go about sort of showing that to the world or reinforcing it to Guyanese people?
So, what I love to do is when there is a festival in Guyana, such as Pagua, I will go to different mandirs and temples and I would film those occasions and show people how we celebrate our culture and how we celebrate the different holidays and how everybody come together and celebrate. It doesn't matter if you are Hindu, Muslim, or Christian, we all come together and we all celebrate that holiday.
Mhm. Do you include in your? I actually honestly don't remember from looking at your videos now, but I know that one of the things that some people do, and you can tell me how you feel about this, is they will include symbols and images, pictures, things that remind people of Guyana. So, like some of the cooking people, they'll put a Guyanese flag in the back. Do you consciously do that sort of stuff? Include symbols or visuals or things that remind people of Guyana? Do you include that in your videos?
I don't necessarily do that, but I like to include the locations in my title so my fans know that, okay, I am watching videos from this region or that region. That is what I do. Sometimes in my thumbnails, I include a little Guyana flag to show people and to represent my country because it is something great to represent your country and show people who you are and where you're from. I think it is a good idea.
Now, as a young person, you describe yourself on your on your vlog as what is it? A little brown girl? Is that what you have up there? Something like that.
Yeah.
So tell me a little about being a young person projecting an image of Guyana, probably to people who are much older, who have seen a lot of the changes, like from way before. Do you get any sort of resistance from them? Like, what does this young person know about, the history of Guyana, whatever? Do you get support from them saying that they're happy to see what's there?
Like I said, for the most part, they are really supportive because I am showing them what is happening now, and that is what they want to see. I don't know a lot about the past, but I am willing to learn, and I go to places that represent the history of Guyana. Like I said, I have went to the Indian Arrival Monument and the Ballot Box Monument of when there were elections and the persons were shot and killed. So I go to these places to show people that a part of what I do is to show the history, even if I am not a part of their generation.
Good. Do you guys have any sort of community of YouTube producers in Guyana? Are you in touch with, involved with, doing collaborations with other people in Guyana who are also producing YouTube content? Is that a thing?
That is not really a thing. We don't do collabs here because a lot of creators, they live really far away. They live in different regions from where I live. And no, we don't. But there is a few YouTubers that I would love to work with because I love the content that they're producing and I love the positivity that they spread with their content.
Mhm. All right. What do you see happening with your channel in 5 or 10 years? Where do you see it headed in terms of what you do now and what you might do in the future?
Well, I hope to do a lot more travel videos and go to different regions and film things that haven't been filmed before. And I want to do a lot more videos about my culture. And Guyana is such a diverse country, and I want to film different people and different culture. I think that is where I see myself in the next 5 years. I also hope to gain a few more subscribers along the way. And I want to create a platform that everybody could relate to. And I want it to be, like I said, I want it to be diverse. I want it to be a channel where every age group could find something that they want to watch.
And if you had to identify the places or groups that you feel are most in need of being, represented on YouTube or shown to the world, are there groups or places that you have in mind that you think really other people have not shown that need to be shown, whether it be people living in the interior, whether it be, native tribes, or anything in your mind that you think that needs attention that you might look at later on?
Something that I truly want to look at is the way that our indigenous people live. I think their life is interesting. It is so much different from our life. And that is something that I don't think a lot of YouTuber has shined a light on. So I want to see the way that they live, the way that they cook. Everything about them is such unique and so beautiful. And I want to learn more about their culture.
Great. Well, that's kind of what the stuff I had prepared to ask you about. But I do want to ask you, based on your experience, because there's one thing that's a little different from everyone else I've seen. You don't have a lot of cooking in yours. A lot of people, even if they do like travel and they do a lot of cooking, they show us them cooking, chicken curry and making roti. How come? How come not a lot of cooking in yours? And I kind of know the answer, but I want to hear you tell me why not a lot of cooking.
Well, I am not one of the best cooks, and that
That's
is
not the
something
answer
that
I had
I
in mind,
want
but
to
go
do.
ahead.
I'm not one of the best cooks, so I'm not, you know, I don't have this experience. So, what if I cook something and I give people the wrong instructions and they cook it and it tastes horrible? So, I have to learn more about that, but that is something I want to do as well. I want to show people some traditional East Indian foods and some foods that we have inherited and some foods that we have bring from India to Guyana and what we have done to it to modernize it and what makes it so beautiful.
Well, there's so much that they've already done. I mean, I learned about things I'd never heard of before. Metemji, I didn't know that was a thing. The
Yeah.
mulligatawny. There's what would you introduce there that you think hasn't been? I'm not going to tell anyone else, but what would you do? I mean, it's there's so many people doing this stuff. There's so many people doing cooking stuff. What kinds of stuff did you have in mind to do that you think would be new and interesting to people that they haven't heard about before?
I want to do some similar dishes like seven curry, but the way we would cook it at home, because I know a lot of people they cook certain foods differently. So I want to try some traditional foods. I want to learn more about some foods that our food parents bring from India.
Mm-hmm.
So that is something that I am leaning towards. I like the idea of cooking chicken curry and duck curry and all of these curries, but I want to do something a little bit different. I want to do more research. I want to go and ask my grandparents, what you love to eat. What did you cook when you were young? And they came up with such beautiful ideas and such fun ideas. Like they had this concept of eating salt and rice and all of these things because
Whoa.
they didn't have the money back then. So
Mm-hmm.
they had to do what they had to do to survive and to keep everybody happy and healthy in the home. So there are going to be some strange things, but I am willing to try it.
I'll give you one little piece of advice. Do it quickly. We're gonna lose these folks. It's inevitable. We all have to, move on. And I say that because before my dad passed away, one of the things he did, and I still have the tapes somewhere, is he interviewed his very elderly at that time. She was in her 90s, his mother and her sister, on how they lived way, way back at the early parts of the 20th century and stuff. So that is something, if you plan to do it, just from my personal experience, you got to move quickly. Let me ask you one last thing that you are free to not answer, because really this is kind of getting in your business. So if you don't want to answer, just say you don't want to answer. I'm sort of just coming to understand now, having done a few of these interviews, that there's some people for whom this YouTube and content creation thing, whether they do Facebook, whether they have a website, that's a full-time thing for them. That's all they do. And there's other people, like this one lady I'm trying to get an interview with, and she says, well, I have a job from 8 to 4. And there's some other people who are, working regular jobs, and they do this just as a sideline. Would you describe yourself as a full-time content creator, or is it something you do in your spare time when you can find the time?
This is something that I do full time. This is what I'm dedicated to. I want to make, like I said, I want people to know what Guyana looks like. And I do this because I love it. I just don't do it because I have the free time. No matter what I do in my life, I will always come back and make videos on my channel because I absolutely love it. And I know a lot of creators who work jobs and come home and film, and their content is still good. So it depends on that content creator. You have to be consistent with your channel, but you also have to make time for your work and for your channel as well.
Okay, Casey, how do you want me to refer to you in the research? If I quote what you say or refer to your channel, is Casey Evins fine with you? Is that what I should use?
Yes, I am fine with that.